to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
Hello, hello. I'm Tracy Smith.
And this is Beth Venus.
And we are
Girls Talk Rock.
We are here today.
How you doing, Tracy?
I'm doing good. We're here today with a fabulous guest.
I'm so happy because it's someone I really like a lot.
We are so into the jazz world. And this person fits so well into that puzzle piece of the jazz world here in San Diego.
Well, we've covered a lot. You know, the music out here in San Diego and Southern California that we've been really kind of covering has been the tribute, the cover, a lot of heavier rock, and our little folky indie folks, which I'm in love with, y'all.
Right.
Kind of. But I really do love this scene of jazz and jazz pops and the world of standards and originals that fall into that same vein. So introducing to everybody who doesn't know who our guest is today,
Miss Debora Galan.
So happy to have you. Thank you, Lee. Welcome, welcome to Girls Talk Rock.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
There we go.
So we're welcoming you to our program in our new headquarters.
Yes.
That we here at Talk Radio. They're still moving in, trying to make it beautiful. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we know that you have been the talk of the town here in San Diego for a while, working on a local and regional level. Tell us about where you've been playing and who you've been playing with here on a local and regional scale.
Okay. Like you said, I've been here for quite a few years. And when I started my group in 2008, I had already kind of had a history of working with different musicians like Brad Ramber and Greg Banning and some of the other kind of smooth jazz artists. Bert Brion was another guy who's also local. And I'd also worked with some other variety bands early on. But since I started my group, Silk, we've actually been working with some of those same people and then have been playing all over town, out in the desert. We've done some headlining for, a festival here and there and golf tournaments, and then more local here to San Diego. I play at the Fairmont, at Paula Casino, at Coyote, all kinds of different places.
Well, the Fairmont's been kind of a home base for you.
Mm-hmm.
And is that something that, that's really a great vehicle for the kind of music that you're signature for?
Yeah. It's a great venue. We play in the lobby lounge. They do have Club M as well over at Fairmont, but we're more in the lobby lounge. It's a really intimate setting. It's almost like singing in your living room, and it really is phenomenal because you get to be really close to the audience. They literally are sitting in really comfy couches and around fireplaces, and there's baby grand in the room, and it's a beautiful room, and the acoustics are really great, and I love it. It's a great setting for me.
And then, what's the normal set for you look like? Is it 90 minutes, hour and a half, 2 hours? What?
No, actually, I play a minimum of 3, sometimes 4. At the Fairmont, I actually do 4 hours.
Wow, so 4 hours of jazz.
Yeah.
Well, and let's define for our listener, because, so many of our listeners, and excuse me, everybody, yes, I'm coming off a terrible cold, so love to you. If you cannot understand me, ask Tracy for a translation.
Yes. Send good mojo.
I will
to Becky
translate
over here.
They've been working hard, and it caught up with me. But, a lot of our listeners are musicians, and when they hear 4 hours, and I know when I think of 4 hours, I think of my casino days where I'm doing AC/DC and Bon Jovi at the end of the night. Tell us what is a typical composition. You guys are doing some of originals and then some of pops and jazz. So tell me how that goes and how you make those selections as the night progresses.
So typically on a place like Fairmont is usually, especially in the lobby lounge, it's usually a duo, at most a trio. And I do a lot of work with a phenomenal guitarist by the name of Jorge Camberos. And he and I have been working together now for over 6 years. So we've kind of developed a really cool repertoire that's composed of original pieces that he's written, actually instrumental pieces, the traditional standards and some of our own renditions of standards, as well as, throwing in some Latin jazz and some Latin pop. So we kind of mix it up, and then we also include stuff like Sade and, kind of R&B jazz. So it's not just straight ahead jazz. It's just a combination. And I find it really kind of appeals to a really wide audience. There's always something for everybody when we play. And I think that's kind of really helped us in finding that niche, of the duo jazz thing.
And I'm sure you do a lot of weddings and a lot of private events and things like that, too.
Yeah, we do that, too.
Jazz
Awesome.
is just such a unique word, though. And I
it
go
is
back to
varied.
it because so many people think of the Jackson Pollock of music when they think of jazz. They think of, the sounds coming from squeaky couches and somebody with a wiki, 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 and pop, 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 like no rhythm or tempo and maybe not as much musicality.
Yeah.
And I think our listeners, if they listen to what you're doing, and we really encourage you, we'll tell you to go to Debora Galan and Silk on her site later in the set. But we want you to check out what is really considered that, because that's part of that family. That's jazz. You mentioned R&B. You mentioned pop. I had mentioned pops, I think, and just of course and then there's standards. And if you're a pianist or a sight reader, you think of it as the big book of.
Yeah, the American
standards.
Songbook. Yeah, the American
big
Songbook.
book.
Right.
Yeah, the
Which is-
Gershwins and the Miles Davis and other books in the.
Now, tell us what kind of demand there is regionally for that kind of jazz, that more standards.
There are venues here in San Diego that are very much like straight up jazz, like the Gilbert Castellanos, kind of folks and Rob Thorson's and stuff. They have audiences at places like the Westgate downtown. There's other hotels down in the area that also have that, those kinds of venues. Somewhat, I think there's a Panama
66, right,
is
at
another
Balboa
place.
Park.
Yeah.
Right.
And, obviously there's the Museum of Making Music, actually, with Kamau Kenyatta,
Yep.
who does a lot of
We
stuff
know
up
Carolyn
there.
over there, yeah.
Yeah. So, and, there's also the California Center for the Arts. I mean,
Which has so much.
Yeah.
But do you think the listener is more mature or more sophisticated? Because we've got this new age of, I hate to use this word, I've used it, the hipsters, the millennials have a very hipster vibe. So which is it? Is it more maturity or sophistication to the listener?
I think you have both, to be honest. There's definitely the older crowd, which I can say that is... not to be an ageist, but that is a draw, I think,
Sure.
in my shows. But you would be really surprised at the number of young students, music students. There are when Seven Grand was doing the jazz shows, the jazz jams on Wednesdays. I was absolutely floored at the number of. It was all 20-somethings. And
Young.
they were so captivated by the music. And it was such a beautiful thing to see, because it's like, that jazz is going to survive. There's going to be another generation that's taking up the baton, if you will.
Yeah, and I'm thinking when you go to school basically, when you're learning music and everything, jazz is the beginning point, because you got your jazz band in high school, right? And then you move on to your college and you've got the jazz at
If
that
you're
level.
a pianist, it's a little different, but yeah.
Right.
As the singer, I think you've got the chorale groups.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really when you start learning how to do vocalese. Matt Falker is a great teacher up in Oceanside, I think, at the Miracosta College. They have a great music program.
Yes,
and
they do.
Palomar also.
Oh, yeah.
So there's quite a few,
I know San Marcos, University of San Marcos.
UCI
Yeah.
has a really good music program.
Right.
So there's, so, I mean, there's definitely a younger market and coming into it. Yeah. And it's exciting to see, also to even watch, now, if you can scroll down any Facebook page and you'll see people posting, tons of videos and it's amazing to.
Now, what about open mics in town? Do they have specific open mics for jazz, or do they not really concentrate on jazz, but they
do, actually. There are a few. I believe there's a Luis Valenzuela who has one down here in San Diego as well, and I believe Gilbert Castellanos still has his thing going on. Panama 66 is still going on, pretty strong.
So those are open mics?
So I believe they do have open mics
cool.
In those places.
So if you're into jazz...
I unfortunately don't get to go to them because I tend to be working all the time.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. If you're in San Diego and you're into jazz,
yeah.
then that's one thing you'll want to check out. If you want to break into the jazz scene as a singer, songwriter, whatever, locally. So just giving people options.
Yeah.
Well, it makes such a difference. Jazz, I keep going back to it because that's what I think of you as, and then I listen to your album and I listen to some of your pieces, actually with some of the kids from my team, High Tech High, cross country.
Hey.
And, when they were really saying, they looked at me and they said, that's jazz?
Yeah, it's like easy listening.
Yeah, because, they're like 17, right?
Yeah.
But I was glad to hear the conversation come up because, again, they're thinking it's something that it isn't. And I think something that's occurring all across the board in music in a more transcendent way is that whether you're country or rap or jazz or whatever covers, they're really starting to get a mix a lot. It's like sort of mix a lot right now. So with a little country get thrown in there. I mean, it's really kind of
it's an infusion of different
more
styles.
now than ever. Do you think?
Totally.
Deborah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I hear it. And I don't know where to place it, and I know it's got to be Hades for talent buyers around the country, but really trying to place where someone belongs.
That was probably one of the biggest challenges, I think, for me with my CD.
Yeah.
Was trying to figure out, it's not really, I'm not smooth jazz enough, according to some, and then, there's obviously a strong element of Latin jazz in my arrangements and the things that I've done. And I can thank Alan Phillips for that. And then, just my own cultural experience, I'm from Spain, and so there's a
Wonderful.
lot of...
Well, my last name, Venus, is Spanish, so maybe we're related.
And I know that your guitar player adds to that flavor a lot because
Also.
when I came out and took some video for you at your house, I was listening to all the original tunes that you guys were doing, and it was like, it has that real awesome... Latin flavor, like you were talking about on all those songs that I was listening to that day. So that's what I like.
Yeah.
What I like about you.
That's what I like.
The spicy Latin stuff.
There you go.
And I think we're going to be really crossing into that area. I really want to explore just a little bit more. Oh, I just rhymed. It's like I'm Dr. Seuss today, huh? I want to explore
You're on
just
it.
a little bit more. And for our listeners, too, you must have the same questions as when you have original and cover, which is really rare for artists to be able to do. I mean, the rest of the spectrum, any working artist, nobody's mixing it up the way a jazz artist can.
That's right.
Or an easy listening artist can. Everybody else has to be, or it seems like has to be pretty specific.
Well,
on their
yeah, we got
bookings.
to put you in a little.
They put you in a
shell.
little pigeonhole.
That's right.
But I want to explore a little bit more how you came to that and what makes you be a vocalist only and how you choose who you work with. And also our famous question we always ask, if we get you on Pandora, we're going to hit you up for the stations that you would be on Pandora.
Yeah.
'Cause
What artist would you come before and or after on, and what station?
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Because we're thinking of you as an original artist as well. And we're like, wow, if you were going to put you on, you're on the Diana Krall station. You're on the Sade station, because in Pandora is so cool. You can kind of like find a family of music.
Easy listening
Where would
versus
you,
Latin.
Where would
versus...
you most like to be placed?
I really love. It's funny you say Sade because I think she was a huge influence in my style of singing. So I think anywhere where Sade sits, I think I would like to sit.
Yeah, because
She's the queen.
because she's a smooth operator for sure.
She really is, and she's been. If you've noticed, she's not been someone who has put out CDs for the sake of putting out CDs, just to keep her name out there. She's gone through long periods of just not doing anything, not putting anything out really. She wanted to
Being true.
Yeah, being true to herself, and it took me a long time to get this one out, and hopefully the next one won't take me as long. But
Baby steps.
it's finally out.
We are well. When you have original music, and I think when we get into that, we're going to start the next segment with some music, are we not?
3 whole minutes. So we got 3 whole minutes to our next segment.
But I know that we have
Yes,
a place for her music.
so I wanted to bring up the fact that Debora Galan's new album is called All About Love, and it looks totally amazing. It's got 11 songs on there. 11. No one puts 11 songs on a CD anymore, Debora.
She does.
They normally do like a 3 to 5 sample. You know, if you're going to go out to the club and see somebody, and you buy a CD for $5 or $10 to support that artist, you get like 3 to 5 songs on that CD. But this one,
deal. This is old school.
This is the real deal.
Well, when you're writing, do you write out the score, or is it like you singing it and they're like playing it and you figure it out from there?
So I am so grateful to have digital technology because I can sing melody lines into stuff. I personally am really not a player. I'm learning, sort of teaching myself how to play piano, and messing around a little bit with the guitar, just to try to work things out. But I'm nowhere near. And it's got to be piano player. I can't even call myself that.
I was going to say that's got to be the influence of Beth.
I know,
on
like
Debora,
drag you,
right? Because she's a piano
3
player.
weeks with you. 3 weeks, I'll get you jamming. But it's so important. It's interesting to me because if you play with people with exceptional ears and you have a great ear, finding the qualities that you want, whether you're looking for a harmonic vibe or a melodic vibe, and if you want it to be the feeling that you're trying to produce in an album, and an album is like telling a story. So versus some of the artists we've had come on who have singles, which are awesome. Yay, single people. Yay, single releases. This is a full album, and I want to find out about creating it. I want to see if it's a story you're writing, and then when you perform, when you play it, are you segmenting it out, or are you playing it as the album is this album? Okay. When you play. So these are the kind of things. What do you think? And before we go into our next segment, I want to make sure that we give a big shout out to the people over at Kaboo. If you are in Southern California, we've got, of course, Girls Talk Rock will be there for Enter Talk Radio. Look for us with our purple glow-in-the-dark
wristbands.
Oh my gosh, they're so darn cute. And if you're really lucky and you stumble across this, you too can have one. If you want to get tickets still for Kaboo, www.kaboodelmar.com. It's the ultimate experience. Live music, art, comedy, just everything, and good food, good eats too.
And I like to call it the Woodstock of 2016 because it's pretty comparable, I think.
It's better because it's in Del Mar.
Well, it is better. It's in California.
Everything is better if it's in Del Mar.
You don't have to trounce through the mud.
Take it from Debora Galan. Let me tell you right now.
And go in those really bad outjohns. So anyway, so that's a good point.
Kaboo Del Mar, make sure you get your tickets. There's still some 3-day tickets left, and if not, get yourself over there for an afternoon.
We're also going to mention real quick Zombie Fest because we're going to be there, and we'll talk about that more in the end of the second segment.
Zombie Fest in Long Beach. We'll talk more about that. We'll be back with Debora Galan.
Yep, in just give us a minute.
A few minutes.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hey, it's Tracy Smith
And Beth Venus
of Girls Talk Rock right here on the Intertalk Radio Network.
every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, Beth, they know that, but we want you to know that the industry pro's choice is Silver Tiger Production.
STP is a full-service production agency offering sound, lighting, installations, talent buying, staffing, backline equipment rental, and sales. Kapow!
It's everything in the entertainment performance industry. It's all at
It's all that.
SilverTigerProduction.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
Look into my eyes, you will see the light that shines for you endlessly. I'm ready, so ready to fall into the arms of love. Your gaze watching over me.
All right, you were listening to the smooth sounds of Miss Debora Galan. She's our guest today in studio, and I've got to say that when I saw you and my husband, we went over to the Jazz on Cedros, of course, and we saw you over there. We were blown away by your voice because it's so pure and it's so clean. And it's so nice. It's just simple, but it's pure. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that we did love about your music specifically and your voice. So that's why we became fans of Debora Galan.
Thank you.
It's pretty cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right?
It is. It's cuckoo.
How that kind of stuff happens. And, you know, and I think anybody who goes to see some of these shows, like especially live, makes such a difference. The recordings are great. Actually, I love listening to any band or any musician in their live performances. I don't care if you're Madonna or you're someone local.
Totally.
The live performances are so much more exciting to watch and see just exactly how unique and different and how they respond. And Debora's got a really cool energy. So if you're a performer looking to do more of this, or somebody you do want to watch and, you know, take notes if you can. And someone who just finished a whole album. So, Debora, we're going to talk a little more about your album.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
And creating this and putting it in the right order. And is it telling a story and how the writing came to be? You know?
Okay.
Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Wow. Well, I can tell you that the songs, really, it's taken me, if you want to be technical, literally since the 90s, I started writing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, as an artist, you know, some of us are a little bit more shy, a little insecure about our abilities, and it took me a long time to really get to a comfort level with people where I felt, okay, I'm going to be vulnerable and expose myself and this stuff, you know, subject myself to criticism and feedback and all this other stuff. I didn't even know if I could write, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just something that I did on my own. And it was pretty amazing the first time that I showed my stuff to the first person I ever worked with in studio was actually Kenny Smith up in L.A. from Airtight Entertainment. And
Why not, right?
I actually met him because I became one of his background singers. And
Cool.
Got to work with him, and he's a gospel artist, and felt safe, you know, and he's, in fact, one of the songs that I originally recorded with him, I'll Be Here, is on that album.
So that network was
yeah.
established pretty early on, and that trust came to be.
Yep. And, you know, I don't know, you know, things always happen for a reason, and for me personally, even though I always had music in my life, and there were times when I felt like I was starting to pick up momentum, somehow it just seemed like life would always like pull the rug right out from under my feet,
Yeah.
and I'd just be knocked flat, and I'd have to start all over, and you know, and when I say that, I'm just saying, you know, like real tragedies in my family, you know, my father dying and my mom's getting sick and all that. So it's like, you know, going through all of those, it just didn't seem like the time was right. But all through those years, I was writing. I was always writing. And I was actually living, I was experiencing, I was learning my lessons. I was actually gathering the material to create what I created. And, if you want to be a really good songwriter, I think you have to really be able to sell what it is that you're saying and
live it.
Of course.
And having lived it is really what gives it authenticity, and I think that's what resonates with people when they listen to music. And so
so now Beth and I always talk about on our show, because we are girls talk rock.
We are.
About how women have to deal differently a little bit with their
A lot.
careers.
I'm just going to say a lot.
And with
Okay?
their
I'm just
music
saying that
and
out
with
loud.
everything, because they have other stuff. Usually the woman will be the one to take care of mom and dad and when they're sick and
We're
when
the
they get older.
caretakers.
And we usually
everybody.
put off our life. And so what do you think about being a woman in a man's world? Have you experienced anything positive and or negative when it comes to you and your music and your career that a lot of people might...
And how you punch through it.
Yeah. I'm happy to report that yes, despite some of the challenging episodes in my journey, there always have been what I would call beacons of light that have kept me encouraged and have really just said, you got to keep going. That have said you have such a talent and you can't squander this, or so it's I always say that words have such power, and you can either breathe life into someone or you can destroy something or someone.
That's right.
Them, and it's we have to take a lot of responsibility for the things that we put out. And yet again, one of the other reasons why I wanted to make this album is I wanted to speak life to people and encourage them, because I know we all go through stuff, but there's always hope, and there's always love out there.
You're so positive. I love it.
Because the album is called All About Love. So love is, peace, and
it's delicious. But you know what? Anybody who talks about love and it talks about some of the things you're talking about on your radio, and of course, age is not a plague, because like you get that vetting and it's like some good things.
That's right.
But just taking chances and being fearless. I had a piano student, Rhea, if you're listening, came into lesson late the other night, and she was really sweaty, and she had just come back from something and not normal. I said, what are you up to? It was like 6:30 lesson, and she's in junior high. She had tried out for the volleyball team, and I said, well, do you play volleyball? And she said, no, I've never played volleyball in my life, but if I don't make the volleyball team, they'll put me on cross country. And I think she's in the 7th grade. But it put such joy in my heart, because she just was so indifferent and just taking the chance and caring. And if I could take every young person, but especially the young ladies, and put them right back into that 7th grader, I would, because I'm like, yes, I was so happy to hear that she went for it. And I think music is the same way. It's like just deciding to show up. You might not get that gig or that event, but then down the line, that network, right?
You get a lot of no's in this industry.
And it is. It's all about
just showing up.
It's all about putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And it's all about just do it. Like Nike says, just do it.
Made me so happy. So when I see anybody trying to do something out of a comfort zone, it really makes me excited. I get excited.
What even makes me more excited is, I love The Voice.
You do.
And
You're
American
a fan.
Idol was like, whatever.
You're
okay.
such a fan,
But
Tracy.
what's so cool about The Voice is that random people that are normally backup singers will jump out there
20
and
feet
they'll
from stardom.
That's a great show. That's
they
a
will
great
put
documentary.
themselves out there, and then the next thing you know, they are the Voice winner or second runner-up or whatever. So if you don't do it, you guys, you just got to do it, seriously.
So many people on any given night could be great. And that which brings me to asking, you've been working on a very local and regional scale as a solo artist with a trio or duo, depending on your night. Maybe a quattro if you're in a loud mood, right?
I've done them all.
If you're in a big punchy mood, you get more people on stage. Yeah. But really, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to take this album on tour?
Yes.
And hit up down the coastline? Or are you just like, heck, I'm hitting the country? What is your goal with
international?
This? You're taking
I'm going big.
Go big or go home.
I'm dreaming big or not dreaming at all.
And you know what? Everybody we talked to on this show, at one point or another, either wants to or has gone overseas to do stuff in Europe, because they just really respect music that much more over in Germany and, Great Britain, all the countries over there.
All those countries.
All those countries.
All the big ones.
All the big countries.
It's really cool.
And the little ones.
Yeah, Habsburg in Germany. Anyway.
But, getting that, so is that in your 2017 plans? Like getting out the logistics for that and figuring out how you want to, and do you take your group with you?
My desire would be, yes, to take my group if I could. As an indie artist, I don't have representation, so I'm kind of really doing all of it on my own. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here to help me get the word out. I'm literally knocking on doors, just, trying to get into radio stations and trying to,
Here I am.
Yeah, I am here. I
we
have
should
arrived.
submit your stuff to 91X because we kind of know a few people over there. Wink.
Well,
hey, Hillary, if you're listening.
What's really interesting with an indie artist, though, is that you have such a different opportunity now than other artists did even 10 years ago, and that so many of them don't have exclusivity agreements with any agency or management company, and you can have a lot of talent buyers working for you, which can be very exciting. Just put them against each other and put them to work.
Yeah.
Well,
also with the internet now, people become stars overnight when they put their YouTube out there or whatever. It becomes an overnight sensation. So there's always that route as well.
That'd be a great band name, wouldn't it? Overnight Sensation.
Yeah.
Did you go see Overnight Sensation last night?
Sounds like their Guilty Pleasures tribute, kind of like Group Kitty.
I know, right? Did you see Overnight Sensation? Oh my God, they were an overnight sensation.
They were awesome.
Oh my
How
God,
about One Hit Wonder?
It had Tracy
That's
and
even
Beth
better.
and Debora in it. They were
That's
an
even
overnight
better.
sensation.
One Hit Wonder is a better name, I think.
No, Overnight Sensation. Be like on TV.
So if you take that name, I'm going to beat you up. No, I'm just kidding.
Will you beat me with a wet needle?
I will.
Please.
I'll spank you later.
Well, making this album, so we have some pops. We heard an introductory to it. We have some love songs. Mm-hmm. What was the first step? What was the first song on this album that you wrote?
Well, the first one literally was "I'll Be Here."
I'll Be Here.
Yeah, that was the one that I wrote. And working with Alan and sort of reconfiguring the song a little bit. It was a lot more kind of 90s R&B when it originally started. And so it's really now evolved into this kind of Latin jazzy kind of thing, which is really... It's got such a cool vibe. I absolutely love the song now. I've always loved it, but I mean even more now than I did before. And then So This Is Love. It was the one that I think really I felt like, okay, this is one that I really feel good about. Like I need to get this one out.
Yeah, get it heard.
And initially the project started out as an EP.
Right.
And as I was going through the process of recording it and just more stuff kept coming, during the last 3 years, quite a few of the songs actually were written in the last 3 years.
So you thought, what the heck, I'll just throw 11 on there since I have all these amazing songs I really want to get out there.
Well, I heard 11, I think, our set. Yeah. And so, and that's what I'm like, 11, that's a happy number. Mm-hmm. That's about a 45, 50-minute set usually. Yeah. And a little time for a break and get some...
Or talking in between, an hour.
Some tea and some pee, and then you get back on. But
no tea, because that makes you really want to pee.
You got to hydrate, baby.
Too much.
So, but is that something you do when you're doing your show? Say we're here in San Diego. Do you reserve a set for these songs? That is that album?
I kind of mingle them in.
Or you mingle them in?
Yeah. It just, unless it's a specific, okay, this is Debora Galan, and because a lot of times what you find, especially when you're working in hotels and things like that, in a lobby lounge kind of scenario, people want to hear things that they're familiar with.
Right, a little bit of familiar.
Yeah, and so if you don't sing them, they will come up and ask.
Right.
So it's always nice to kind of do things that are, in the mainstream, if you will, and then kind of give them a little tease of, this is something that and then of course our CDs are for sale.
And speaking of CDs, let's talk about that again. So All About Love. Where can people get this if they want it? Give us your links.
Okay, so my website, www.debora, Debora, Galan, GALAN.com, all one word. has actually links to the iTunes and CD Baby. It was distributed through CD Baby Pro, so there's, people can also find it on Amazon and some other distributors. But
Spotify,
those are my
I'm
two.
sure.
Yeah, it's also on Stream and
Right.
and all of that.
Well, we really encourage everybody
Very
to,
cool.
if you are an independent artist, or if you're one of our wonderful Tributor era players, one of those 80s bands out there listening, go check out Debora Galan. Purchase one of her songs because, she's probably bought one of yours along the way. And it's like anything else in sales. Once word gets out and people start to hear, it really starts to organically carry itself a little bit more. iTunes and CD Baby are great
and
resources.
so what I want to know is, where are you playing next? Yeah. What's your next gig?
So my next gig, I'm actually going to be, just booked one thing yesterday. I'm going to be at Ponte Winery with Bob Keeney. But the big event is actually September 18th, and it's the official CD release event. So that will be...
And where is that going to be?
That's going to be, believe it or not, at a very unconventional venue. It's the Escondido Seventh-day Adventist Church in Escondido.
Oh, there you go. And then what time will that start?
And that starts at 6 p.m.
Perfect. So if you want to get out and check out Debora, go over to there. Check it out.
Yeah, and what about pre-sale tickets? Of course, I'm all about like sell. So I'm crazy, Bethy. But
brown paper tickets.
Brown paper tickets.
Yeah.
You can get the CD release party. Man, I am just all about Peter Piper pick Puckles today. Okay, get to the Seventh-day Adventist to see you. I know I used to be able to say that, and this weekend I cannot say that. So.
It's really fun. It's really funny because people have asked me, so is this like a religious event? It's like, no, it's just that it
can be if you want it to be.
It can be a spiritual experience, yes. But to be honest, this is one of the places where I have done a lot of singing for the church, and they were very kind enough to actually offer me their space. And the stage is big enough to accommodate.
I was just going to say
the size of the band that is going to be at the show, which is going to be
about that.
phenomenal.
Well, walk us through that, girl.
Yeah, so
that sounds exciting.
I cannot even. I'm like, pinch me because it's amazing. A lot of these people are the people that are also on the album.
Excellent.
And what I wanted to do in the concert and the live experience was actually the same people that you're listening
are on the album.
So Alan Phillips, of course, my producer, will be playing. He is a percussionist guru, not to mention a phenomenal piano player, and he's a multi-instrumentalist, but he's going to be doing piano and timbales. And then we also have Kamau Cañada, who is, if you're familiar with him at all, he's a producer for Gregory Porter.
Night. Oh, Holy Mary.
Derek Cannon, Monette Marino.
I love Monette.
Yeah, she's
percussion,
phenomenal percussionist herself.
Beautiful.
Tiki Pasillas, who's with Arturo Sandoval, played with Michael Jackson, like all these amazing people.
Wow, and I know that guy because he was on Jackie's show.
Yeah.
I actually booked him on Jackie Bertoni's show.
Yeah.
Here on Intertalk
That's
Radio.
right.
Yeah.
All right, well, hold that thought, Debora, because when we come back, we're going to talk all about the future.
Oh my gosh, where are we going to be? We're going to tell a little more about this concert.
Yes.
The other little shows coming up.
2017.
Big shows coming up.
And then,
who
of
we can
course,
get you on a stage with because you're going to support, so someone's going to support you.
And of course, we're going to have the Quattro
questions.
Oh, yeah,
Very
don't
exciting.
go anywhere. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Don't sneeze.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Girls are talking rock again.
And people are listening.
Today we're talking bands.
Let's talk promotion. Red Giant Promo, graphics, EPKs, video, photos, social media, and brand building using content marketing.
But let's talk studio at CCMA, which is events, rehearsal, tour prep, piano, guitar, voice, rock band, lessons, workshops, and clinics. Yeah!
Both proud sponsors of Girls Talk Rock.
Well, get the lowdown on these services and contact me, Tracy, at girlstalkrock.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
Sabes que te adoro con pasión, tú eres mi inspiración, me pones a volar. Para mí, tú eres mi obsesión, el ritmo en mi canción, la voz en mi cantar.
All right, you were listening to the smooth sounds of the Latin side of Debora Galan, our guest today, All About Love, her album.
Ooh, yummy. And I was just thinking, because you have a Spanish roots, which you have maybe Madrid Spanish roots.
Yes.
Yes, because if that's not Catalonian on that
No.
album there.
No.
So, yeah, I'm like just thinking that might not sound as beautiful as the Spanish sounds gorgeous. So how wonderful to hear you sing it in another language. Here in California, that's pretty par for the course. But when it's jazz,
And now what I want to know is,
Pretty
did your
awesome.
parents coming up or anything like that have any influence? Were they musicians, or did you just go off on your own, or did you always hear it in the house, or how'd you get your start?
Both my mom and my grandpa used to sing all the time.
There you go.
My mom used to sing what they call coplas and flamenco. My grandfather did the same thing. So we always, although we were not a musical family in the sense that we played instruments, there was always music in the house. And my mom especially, I have to thank her for just the amazing exposure she gave me. Once I came to live with her here in the States, and growing up in Washington, D.C., I was, she'd take me to the Kennedy Center, and I would, get to hear everything from Andean music to folkloric, Colombian dances. Nice. And so, and obviously growing up in Washington, D.C., it's a very diverse,
Totally.
area, and it's one of the things I loved about growing up there. And so I was exposed to a lot, and I think all of that has really played part of the formation
Into the creation of what is now Debora Galan.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
it's a very international sound.
Yeah. And it usually goes over well with
It
audiences
does
and
go
stuff.
over
Yes.
well. I was just looking. I was going to look up the Caboose schedule and see who's really from that vein on the stage. But there's so many good things coming up. I think we need a little bit more of it. And I'm thinking about like Bimbo's up in San Francisco. They always have such a great lineup of pops and jazz music.
Well, you did also open at the Coach House for
Steve Terrell.
Steve Terrell.
Oh my gosh, you guys! He showed up.
Was that awesome?
He showed up at my show at the Fairmont just a couple of weeks ago.
Wow! See that?
I was floored. He was actually having a show. I think 2 days after because I was there on a Friday and he was doing a show on Sunday, and he actually came.
That's awesome.
And we had actually had this little exchange because we had a friend in common on Facebook, and I almost fell over in my chair when he actually said something to the effect that you're a great artist. I was like, okay, this is priceless.
That's awesome. See, now that's what life is all about. Having others recognize your work.
And it came as a result of, you guys
over here, but
making that connection with me.
But that's that network, and those are those connections.
You have to get in the network.
Sometimes just getting in the door in especially if you're an indie artist, and getting and doing that support opening. Man, if you can support a national tour, I always say do it.
And maybe next time Steve rolls through, he'll invite you.
Just call you up and say,
yes, Mr. Terrell, please do.
Yeah, what was it? A good fit.
Yes, it was a great fit. It was an awesome show.
And that's a lot of it. When you are looking for a lot of your events as you plot your tour, and I'm sure Tracy and I will be some part of that on some
totally.
level. I'm hoping we are.
Yeah.
Are you looking to get some of those kind of shows and broaden your audience a little bit more, expand your listeners to people who already have a certain kind of music that they're happy with,
and that already go out there and love somebody like Steve, and they're showing up for him, but then they just happen to hear you?
Yes, absolutely. That would be a dream come true, actually.
It's the best.
It's
the best.
All right, Steve, if you're listening, Debbie wants to go on tour with you, Deborah.
Absolutely.
She wants to go on tour with you. Well, so just take her along for the ride.
I think a lot of the medium and smaller venues like Coach House, like St. Rock, and we mentioned that before, and even Humphreys down by the bay, whether you're on the main summer stage or backstage, and House of Blues. A lot of these venues that hold under 1,500 are such great places to support a national tour that's just going to bubble over, and then all of a sudden they're exposed to you. So
there's a certain level of intimacy with those numbers. It's not so big that you can't make eye contact with a lot of people.
They're still reaching out.
And artists try and build their career towards the 700 seats that build them to the 1,500 seats that, So that's what you want to do.
Because it's such a business. And
it is.
Working on both sides of things all the time, Tracy and I, we both know that someone might be the best artist in the world. They might be just so talented. Barbara Streisand talented, or Celine Dion. They might
no
be
one will
Celine
ever
Dion.
hear you if you're not going to get out there.
She was my inspiration to singing at the age of 13.
Wow. She's like, right? Like,
there you go.
You hear certain things, you identify with it. And I think that's really important. Like, we hear you say that because you identified with that, and then you kind of took it in your own way. But man, getting out there and finding those right. So what are some other headliners touring that you want to get on ticket with?
Oh, my goodness. Well, obviously Steve Terrell, like we said. Somebody like Mark Anthony.
Oh, yummy.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So all right, Mark, if you're listening.
So you want to pick up that tempo, baby. Yeah. You're ready to rumba.
I have such a, it's really funny. I have, I think it was my great-grandmother was actually Cuban, and I definitely have this passion for salsa and Latin music. I love flamenco. And I love the fusion of flamenco jazz. There's some great Spanish artists that I have been discovering that I just like.
And have you done anything locally with Manny Zapata?
No, actually.
You really should talk to him because he is. He's all about Latin.
You know what? You're going to laugh at. I have never actually worked directly with him, but we both have been at the same event. We had a party, and he was in the front of the house, and we were in the back of the house.
This is exactly what Manny does. He's got like a 4-piece, 5-piece, 6-piece, 7-piece
variation. Yeah,
he's
and
great.
He can tweak it, but he is Latin all the way. Yeah. He's percussion. He's super good. His band is super good, so we need to hook you up with him.
Yeah, he does that Buena Vista Social Club.
Yes, and he goes over to Liberty Station and all the time, and does all
that
kinds
thing
of
down in by Eddie V's
Salsa Under the Stars.
Yes, that's it. That's it. I've been wanting to go there.
That's what I'm saying. If we can get you on the same bill with him to open up or whatever for him, or just mess around, or we'll get you guys hooked up somehow.
Southern California, there's
He's
so
a good
much,
friend of mine.
and I know we're national, but I'm just telling you, if you're not in San Diego,
national is good,
or LA, national is good, and there's so many venues along the way that if you have a few anchors, you can put in some of those maybe less.
We'll get you over to Vegas. How about your own show in Vegas?
Tracy's ready to go on tour. I think Tracy, you'd be a great road manager.
Dude, I would be such a bomb road manager.
Don't
Seriously, logistics.
No
don't you
logistics
wish your road
is my
manager
thing.
was hot like Tracy? Don't you?
Maybe.
Don't ya? Yeah, you'd be awesome, dude, because you would be like that like bulldog, like,
yeah. Like, no, the hotel room's not good enough. Give me a better one.
I want an hour and 15, man.
Not the
30 minutes. We drove a long way.
Right.
Those are all those things that you got to do. But you reaching out as an independent artist, just getting the right fit, seems like the most important thing. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done it for a long time myself. I just tell everybody else. But it seems pretty important to have the right fit with the right artist. And then, boom, look what just happened. He came right into your show.
Yeah.
I think that's just stellar. I hope you wrote a note and said, hey, here's your schedule. Let me...
I actually gave him a CD.
Excellent.
There you go.
Excellent. So tell me how important, we're in the last segment, is your marketing and your branding of your product. What do you have to share with us about what's worked and what hasn't worked in
your social media and branding, Silk?
It's been really such a learning lesson for me. I used to work in private industry, and my husband always used to say, you're such a natural at business development. For me, I think the most important, obviously, is to actually have FaceTime with people if you can. And I know it's really difficult to do.
This day and age, yeah.
But it does require, especially if you want to get into a particular venue. And I've been very selective, actually, about the venues that I
Smart.
go to.
That's good. You should be selective.
I know that I'm not going to fit everywhere. And so my strategy's always been to really go to venues, check out their scene, check out their clientele. Do I fit? Based on what I envision about myself, is this a good place for me? And then I start.
Smart.
And, I can start with a casual meeting or, sending them something and then just following up. It does require a lot of follow-up.
So much follow-up.
A lot of it.
You get hit with the same thing, and our listeners who are musicians will really feel this. That the first question they ask you is, well, we'd love you to come to LA or up to Phoenix or Nevada, or wherever you're going, but how many people are going to come because of you? And
how many are you bringing?
Yeah,
right.
And you're like, I'm from San Diego, and I'm going to go to Nevada, and I don't know how many. So, is that the biggest challenge, answering that question, or is it easy to scoff that off and say, just let's make this happen, baby?
Most of my work has really been regional, in this area, and I've tried not to set myself up for failure.
Yeah.
Nowadays, an artist is no longer an artist. An artist now has to be a promoter, has to
businessman,
be a business person. You have to negotiate contracts. You have to, be a logistics person. And,
Correct.
You have to be your own sound person. It's, in your lighting company. And it's really, in a way, it kind of takes away from the art.
Absolutely.
And that's
I agree.
the biggest heartache for me as the lead of a band, is that while I do love making the people contact, I do think that art suffers as a result sometimes.
I agree completely.
Because you're just not able to spend as much time as you really want to devote to your art.
Well, how can you be the jack of all trades and master of none?
Exactly. So I'm learning to delegate. Yeah. That's one of the good things.
She's a delegator. That's like
right.
a delegator.
You got to try to delegate.
We'll call her Deborah Galan, the delegator.
Well, it's such a big deal. Just sales and marketing and promoting an event or a project or a certain show, it has become such a big thing. And you mentioned, of course, on different stages, as you progress, you won't have to bring this PA as much or do lighting as much, and that'll change.
Yeah.
But that thing that will never change is them expecting the artist at every level to be responsible for that draw. I had somebody tell me the other day, oh, well, he's headlining, so he doesn't have to worry about it. And I said, oh, on the contrary, he's bearing all the weight.
Yeah.
And they're counting those tickets too, baby. Even if you can't see it in front of you, they're counting after the show.
That's
Trust
correct.
me,
Absolutely.
So, that attendance and those warm bodies means so much. Do you think that is also something that is a challenge to art now in this modern, all capitalistic society?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, we have 4? Yeah,
minutes.
capital. See, I'm going on a
minutes.
Well, we got to do Quattro then. We got to do Quattro. We got the beautiful Debora Galan
we
here.
We got it. Yeah, okay. So my first Quattro question would be, if you're any color, what color are you and why?
Color question.
Red.
Okay, why red?
Well, there's just something about red. It's passionate. It's beautiful.
It's Latin. It's passion.
It is very Latin.
Salsa.
Mama like.
Yeah.
Well, you're stuck in a room for a week with only a pianist or a guitarist. What are you taking?
Oh, that's a tough one.
And you have to write a whole album.
That's a tough one. Is it the kind of piano that has all kinds of different patches?
A real piano with 88 keys and no buttons.
You know, I have to tell you honestly, I really, it would be either or, because I'm happy with both. I work with both so well. There's certain things.
Say piano, right?
There's some things about guitar, you know, especially if you're writing, depending on the kind of music you're writing. If you're wanting to, I think guitar is a little bit more versatile.
Oh my gosh! I just had a heart attack.
So here we go.
I got a teacher. We're you and me, girl.
But I love piano though.
All right, my next quattro question would be: if you were an animal, would you want the ability to fly, so you're a bird, or run fast like a cheetah, or be really tall like a giraffe?
Fly.
Yeah, fly.
Absolutely.
I've always wanted to fly. All my dreams, I've always just ran and jumped off the roof, and I can fly.
Absolutely. You could be your own IMAX if you think about it. You know,
you could.
I want to do.
Yes, strap a little
I've got
camera
the
to your
bestest
head.
of the ball. Also, this is for all of you people listening, and you're thinking on going to her website. Make sure you go to www.deboragalan.com so you can check out her show, check out where she's playing live, regionally and locally. And when you go, make sure you bring what her guilty pleasure is, which is chocolate or liquor. And if it's liquor, what kind?
Wine is red.
Wine is red.
Wine.
You heard it. Bring her the best wine you can find,
box,
and
or
you
we
will
bring
be
in the wine bottle.
No boxes. No
boxes. Okay.
I like chocolate, but I don't know, man. There's nothing like a really good bottle of wine.
There it is.
There you go.
I agree. Chocolate and wine go really well together.
And are you playing again at the winery? Is Jazz on Cedros coming up or not?
I think Anna Danes is planning another event.
Okay, cool.
But we can find this on your website, right?
Yeah, the website, and anybody that wants to follow me on Facebook or Twitter or
Get
Instagram.
to that. By the way, positive comments. If you're get on Facebook or social media with Deborah Galan, you're going to get a lot of positive, happy stuff, and you're going to find out where some great live shows are, which is just the way to go. Great date night, or just a great way to free your mind. I'd like to remind our guests again that you can find Tracy and I at Kaboo on the preview night, Thursday night. Oh, with my best.
Oh, the spa.
With my Get Out of Field free card, Chris Isaac.
I think we're going to have access to Chris Isaac and Macy Gray at
If
that
I don't,
party.
I'm just going to jump right over the hurdles to get to him. That
So
man
we're
is
going for
delicious.
it. We're going.
We'll be there as media presence for Intertalk Radio. We'll be there all 3 days. Look for us. See if you can get yourself a nice glow-in-the-dark
in October,
bracelet.
16th through the 18th, we're going to be up in Long Beach for the Zombie
Fest. Make sure you get your tickets
my
now
God,
before they sell out.
You've got to get there because they got brain eating contests and everything else up there.
I know. It's so www.kaboodelmar.com. The ultimate experience, September 16th through 18th. Get your tickets now.
So we got to tell you,
Deborah Galan.
Yeah, www.Debora. That's DEBORA Galan GALAN.com.
Make sure you go purchase some music. Go check out, go support local music.
Okay, last shout out. What do you need? 13 seconds. Go.
I just hope you all come out to the concert on September 18th and 6 to 9 at the Escondido Seventh-day Adventist Church.
There you go. You heard it here on Girls Talk Rock.
If you need more information, don't hesitate to call the station or hunt Tracy down, and she'll just
just hunt me down.
She'll tell you all about it. We'll make sure you're there. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Okay. Take it easy. We're Girls Talk Rock. That's Tracy Smith.
That's Beth Venus.
We're Girls Talk Rock.
We are.
Have a great day. We'll see you at Kaboo.
Awesome. Hey, it's Tracy Smith
and Beth Venus
of Girls Talk Rock right here on the Intertalk Radio Network.
Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, Beth, they know that, but we want you to know that the industry pro's choice is Silver Tiger Production.
STP is a full-service production agency offering sound, lighting, installations, talent buying, staffing, backline equipment rental, and sales. Kapow!
It's everything in the entertainment performance industry. It's all that.
It's all that.
SilverTigerProduction.com.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.